Hey, welcome to the last video in our series about our first submission, our Livingston Builders website, and we're ready for deployment. So up until now we did most of what we needed to do, and because I'm lazy and I don't want to do all the work for Mike, who needs to do some work himself, I didn't get all the way through brushing it up, but I think we tackled a lot of good stuff. So what we're going to tackle now is getting one of these setups deployed. I am definitely not a DevOps engineer, and this is not my specialty, but I know enough to just kind of get things rolling. And for non-enterprise type websites, this is perfectly fine. The other thing is that there are plenty of services out there like Heroku, but also AWS is good. All these services, Google's is good. They take care of a lot of the heavy lifting for you in terms of the important stuff like scaling and database setup. So you really don't need to know too much to get basically anything except an enterprise class type of setup going. That's what we're going to do. So I'm following the Heroku node instructions. They're really, really, really easy. So basically you go here. If you haven't already, you need to download their CLI for your terminal, and we'll do some magic in a little bit. Let's see, the next thing is you have to log in. I'm going to navigate to my folder first, so we're going to go CD to drill down into documents, rewrite, Mike Livingston. Okay, so we'll go log in, and I'll enter my username. If you haven't registered yet at Heroku, you do need to do this, so that's good. Cool. All right, you also want to make sure that you check your prereqs here. So we're going to go node v. We're good there. npm v. We're good there, and git version 2.13. Oh, looks like we're not quite up to date. That's okay though. I think it should be fine. It's pretty close. So let's keep going. Okay, so the first step is you need to make sure you have your project set up as a Git repository. And the good news is that all of the hard stuff is done for you as far as that goes. All the files are in place. You have a package JSON, everything you need. We just need to get it up onto GitHub. So let's see if the way you can do this two ways. You can go to their website and do it through their UI, which is good. I would suggest doing that. So you can go here. You can go like new repository and just upload your files. But because we have like a specific setup, maybe just use the command line here. And I know it's archaic, but we'll do it anyway. So if you go git add period, what that'll do is that'll add all of your files to GitHub. And I should actually delete my repository so that you can see what's going on here. Because otherwise, maybe we'll get a little screwed up. So let's see. Where is mine? Is this it? No? Oh, maybe mine's not on here. Maybe it doesn't show up in the UI. Alright, never mind. So, alright, you can do this. You can go git add star, git commit master. Oh, you do have to git commit and initial. I threw an extra thing there. Git commit and initial. Looks like it worked. Cool. When you do this, git commit m initial, this will definitely have more files. Mine is already a Git repository, but if this is the first time doing it, yours will have more files. So that'll set it up, and then you can do git push master or git push m. I don't know why it's not letting me. Might not even have to. That's all you have to do. add your files, commit them, and that's fine. Okay, so now we're over here. So let's go to Heroku create. What this does, this initializes Heroku's create code on your repository, and it creates it under this application name. So if you go to your dashboard now, I'm going to refresh here, and we'll see this all set up. So this is kind of like your terminal for all of your stuff. There's a lot to Heroku. You could do an entire series alone on one of these setups, but we don't need to. So we have our app created, but there's nothing here because we have to actually push our stuff to Heroku. But before we do that, what we need to do to get this running is just add one file, and that is called a proc file or process file, which Heroku uses to dictate what it does with your application. And for this one, we actually just need it to do npm run production. Now there's a couple more, there's really a science to this. I'm just giving you the most simple, straightforward way of getting this running. Really what you should do is have your Heroku command just access the completely compiled file or your entry point from Webpack. But I'm going to be honest with you, that's not something that I'm even remotely confident enough in doing to put it on screen. So this is good enough. The only downside of this is that when we start our application for the first time, it's going to take a second. And what you should do in your terminal is just test out that your production mode works. So we'll go back here, we'll say npm run production, and what we should see is a bunch of stuff building. It should look a little bit different than your dev mode, because in production we want to run a few different commands like minifying the JS, removing all of our errors that we probably have. Imagine if it could do that. Just write the whole thing through. Buy back your soul from Satan. All those things. Okay. It's built just like it is in dev mode, and you can go ahead and access it. And you don't have those dev tools, so actually a bunch of things should be faster. So, yeah. All right, so our production mode works. Let's go ahead and exit out, Control-C. And now if we do git push Heroku master, we might get lucky. Oh, no, we have to do git add dot git commit dash m Heroku config, because we added that proc file between the last commit and this one. Yep, and now we can do git push Heroku master. Okay. Did not like that. What is this dry ravine thing? This is interesting. It's trying to push. That must have been my test one. Hold on. It looks like I figured out how to do this. What you need to do is, actually, it probably worked the first time for you, but if you are running into this problem, just remove the remote like this, git remote rm Heroku, and then do Heroku create again, and then you can git push Heroku master. But I don't know, that was weird. When you Heroku create, that should solve it. But anyway, so what you're seeing is that we're building the source here because Heroku knows to do npm run production. It's going to take a second because doing this takes a second. That's okay. But what we should see at some point, oh, there we go. We have success. All right. So if we go to our dashboard, we can refresh. And this is the downside of what I was talking about before when putting npm run production in the web. When we open this, what the fuck? Oh, wait. Sorry, it's this one. When we open this, This is going to take a second. Actually, if you go to logs, you can see it happening. It's pretty cool. So you should recognize this in your dashboard, these logs, because what it's doing is it's running your production mode online the same exact way that you did. You're going to see the same output here as you did here, which is neat. There it goes. And obviously, if somebody was trying to land on your website for the first time, this is really bad. But you only have to do this once, so it's nothing to worry about. And sure enough, here we are. So we're live at this URL. Our photos are loading quickly and wonderfully. I love it. And we don't have anything for about and contact because I'm going to let Mike do that. But we do have our website all running and deployed. So that concludes our first series here. You learned how to set up a pretty production-ready React, Redux, and API database compatible project here. We learned a couple of production tactics, especially for filtering and image management. We learned some component design, and we learned how to kind of get a base deployment up on Heroku. So that's pretty cool. What that means, though, is that I'm out of work, so I'm taking submissions. Make sure you send your work in, and we'll get to doing another video series, and we'll tackle different problems next time. So I hope you enjoyed. If I can do this any better, let me know, and happy coding.